Hi Abdel, good evening. My name is Glennon Quinn and I'm with Calpro Home Inspections. So I just finished up the inspection in Davis that you're purchasing. So what we're going to do is just walk around and talk about my findings. You will receive a report. You'll have pictures, color pictures with all the defective items. Then we also color code everything in the report, so that way you know which items need to be addressed right away, which are going to be the red bold items, which needs repair or further evaluation by a licensed contractor to get those fixed. Also, we'll have black bold items throughout the report. Those are not so critical things. Those items either need some maintenance or some minor repair. And then throughout the report we'll have maintenance recommendations, life expectancies of your appliances and things throughout the house. So I inspected your entire electrical system, including the main panel and outlets throughout, GFCI safety items, things like that, the entire plumbing system from main water shutoffs to fixtures inside, drain pipes and tubs, showers, valves, things like that. And the entire interior, the foundation, the roof, attic, all your appliances. So as we walk through, I'll explain if something is operating properly or needs some maintenance or if there are any issues. So starting with the roof, I did take a look at the roof inspector's report, and I also found those exact same items. There are some issues with the flashing. This type of roofing, actually, with this type of tile, it's got these wavy look. It's a mission style type tile compared to the flat concrete tile. But the life expectancy of something like this is about 50 years. And usually you don't run into too many issues with these type of tiles, except for actually sometimes if they're not flashed properly, you know, you might run into some water intrusion and things like that. So the good news is there's no major damage caused by any of the flashing problems right now. So what the type of flashing they're using right now is lead material, and they're flexible. So also depending on the construction method that they have going on here, usually they will have sheet metal flashing. It's called counter flashing, where the flashing actually goes into the wall and comes over the roof. So right now they have lead flashing that goes underneath the drip edge of the stucco and it comes over the tile. So typically these are not very effective. It's kind of a you're going to have to do a lot of maintenance with these because lead wears off over time. So metal flashing is ideal, but at the same time it may not be practical in some areas. So it's kind of, you're stuck with lead flashing, so you really have to do periodic inspections to make sure they're in good shape. So a critical area is the upstairs bedroom number 3. If you're looking at the house, if you look to the right, there's a window, and there's the wall and the window sill pretty much meets there. So maybe we can just walk over there and see if we can get a shot. Why don't you step back with me? So that window to the right, where the roof actually meets right underneath the sill, pretty tricky concept there, so you really have to flash it properly, and it's actually, the lead flashing is actually pulling out and water can actually back into the wall. I checked the back side of it, so no staining or anything. Everything looks good. It just needs to be corrected. Also, there's some counter flashing, kickback flashing at the wall roof intersections, like right over there, where the stucco needs to be patched up so no water gets into that. So basically, after looking at the roof inspection report, $875 fix is considered really minor fix. So a roofing contractor probably spent 2 hours here getting that fixed. They usually charge $275 minimum. So to get your valleys cleaned, put your slip tiles back in place, those are also at wall roof intersections and very commonly seen, and getting all your flashing and things like that all fixed up. So I think that's a pretty good price. Also, that will actually eliminate any problems. They will give you a 2-year roof certification for about $250 more. You also have the option of purchasing a roof certification for 5 and even possibly 10. If this particular company cannot do that for you, I do have a roofing contractor who can actually, I'm pretty sure he'll certify it for at least 5 years, maybe even 10. So also, if you like, I can have him come out here and put a third set of eyes on it and see what their opinion is. But overall, it's a pretty easy fix and needs to be fixed, so I would take care of that. Also, the gutters have debris. Looks like you also have some pigeon problems. They do have some spikes at areas that they usually come and try to nest in, things like that. Also, there's some previous evidence of glue at the overhang, so that'll keep them away. But regardless, when you move in, I would hire a bird control person and see what the best control method is, so that way you don't run into any issues. So gutters overall looks pretty good. Definitely needs to have some debris and needs to be cleaned up. Except for that, the roof is in pretty good shape. Again, straightforward. Flashing needs some repair, and it's really not that big of a problem, but needs to be addressed. The attic area looks pretty good. Cross ventilation is good. Rafter system looks good. Insulation coverage looks good. All your ductwork looks good. Your furnace is up in the attic. You have a really nice high efficiency furnace compared to 80% efficient units, which are in most homes. They actually have a 95% efficient unit, and it's a really nice unit. Functions just fine. So with these type of units, it's a fully enclosed combustion chamber, so they have a plastic flue pipe for your exhaust. So during the exhaust cycle, it collects, it creates condensation in the flue pipe, which actually drips down into a condensate line and supposed to work just fine. But something that we commonly run into is leaks at pipe joints. Over time with heat and things like that, those joints fail. So it is critical that you do your annual tune-ups on these, because this unit is up in the attic. You never get an opportunity to actually put your eyes on it to detect any problems. So doing those annual tune-ups will, one, help your unit run smoothly, and the technician will catch any issues that may cause problems. So right now you do have a leak at the pipe joint seam, and that needs to be fixed. And due to that leak, it also cost, so usually up in the attic you have a plywood, 3/4 inch plywood platform that the furnace sits on. So that leak actually caused some dry rot to that platform. So the dry rot needs to be removed and a new piece of plywood installed. I think the pest inspector called that out, but they did not bid it, because you're going to have to call a heating company, or someone needs to call a heating company so they can actually move the furnace to the side while they do those repairs. So I'll have pictures of those and also an explanation in the report. Except for that, heating system works great. AC unit is in good working condition. Again, one of the first things you want to do is annual tune-up when you first move in. And the air filter is completely dirty, and that needs to be replaced. So that's something you want to do on a 3-month basis. All this will be in the report with maintenance recommendations that you can do to keep your house in good shape. So moving on, the driveway is in great shape. All your walkways look good. All your downspouts are connected to an underground drain system, so your site is going to be free of any drainage problems. Another thing I wanted to point out regarding the roof is right above the garage door header, the ceiling has a little staining. It's very, very minor, so I'm pretty confident it hasn't caused any structural problems, but the roofing contractor should know about it, and that way they can look a little further into that area. So it may be caused by that flashing like we talked about, so those need to be fixed. So once that's fixed, hopefully that goes away. Also, if you get a roof certification and if that becomes an issue in the future, that should be no cost repair for you. So moving on, let's go ahead and walk over here. I'd like to point to the main water shutoff. So this here is your main water shutoff. You have the incoming water is copper piping, and then your supply pipes are plastic PEX material, which are very common for early to mid 2000 built homes and any homes built currently. Water pressure is at 50 pounds. That's within range. This right here is your sprinkler shutoff. All your front and back sprinklers are in great shape. The back sprinklers, I would definitely direct them away a little bit from the patio posts, which actually is probably the reason what caused the a little bit of dry rot on the post base trim. The post itself is fine, but the trim has a little dry rot which needs to be replaced. So you should direct the sprinklers from hitting those posts and cause moisture problems. So back here is sprinkler control. This is your main electrical panel. You have a 200 amp main breaker, and then you also have a sub panel in the garage, which we're going to walk around and point to you. But all the wiring and everything is in great shape. So this right here is your main your sub panel. All your breakers look good. Everything is labeled here based on the numbers. It'll tell you exactly what goes where. These top two breakers on the right with little green knobs, those are arc fault circuit interrupters. Those two breakers on your bedroom circuits. Ignore. Two breakers of your bedroom circuits to prevent any fire hazards if there's any arcing. So if you ever run into any rooms with no power, you want to come out here because it will be tripped, then you can go ahead and reset that. But if you have any questions, we'll talk on the phone too. I might be able to explain that better for you. So, and then this GFCI outlet here controls all your exterior outlets. So if any of your exterior outlets cause a problem, it'll trip over here, and that's a safety feature which you want to have, and it's functioning properly. And then over here is the, let me turn this light on. So over here is your water heater, 50-gallon tank. It's in really good shape. Exhaust pipe, water shutoff up there looks good, strapped properly, so really no issues with the water heater. You do have a water softening system, so you might want to consult with a water softener company out here and have them service this for you and get it all nice and up and running. But looks like there's evidence that it might have leaked at some point in the past, but it's just staining. There's no damage to it, and there's no current leaks at this point. So I would definitely get that serviced once you move in. And the garage door operates properly, no issues with that. You have photo eyes for your self-close, automatic reverse, so everything is in good shape, no problems with that. So let's go ahead and walk in the back. So the fencing needs some typical maintenance, which usually means you adjusting your gate a little bit. This board was a little loose, but I actually nailed it down for you. But from time to time, you know, you're gonna have boards come out, just nail them back in. But the gate is nice and working freely. Surprisingly, one of the few that actually works properly, but it does work. And then also this fence is original on this side, maybe even a little older than that, because the next door neighbor's house is a little older than this, so this section of the fence might be a little older than the original. But overall looks pretty good. Some broken boards over here, so those can be replaced. $1.50 at Home Depot, and it's pretty easy to put in. Or you can hire a fence guy to come up and kind of spruce things up a little bit. Also, you have some vegetation close to the fence, so it's important that you keep those trimmed so it doesn't push the fence out. Also, we've got some loose sections. That's just a matter of replacing some rotted posts, and a fence guy should be able to take care of all that for you. Over here is your main AC unit, sized properly, everything is working properly, no issues with that. And so let's go ahead and move back this way. And right over here you have two water stub outs for a possible sink. If you wanted to add a barbecue or something, add a sink out here, you have the possibility of doing that. And then this panel up here that you see, that's the electric control panel for the jacuzzi. So your GFCI outlet's in there, so if for any reason your jacuzzi is not working, most likely the GFCI tripped, so you want to go ahead and get that reset. And then right above that, this roof section here, if you look over there, there's a couple missing rake tiles. Just like the tiles you see on the right side, they should have had two tiles right over there, but because right now you can get water in there. Again, there's no evidence of damage, but that also needs to be addressed on the roof repairs. And let's see, over here we have a little dry rot on this trim piece over here. It's definitely weathered. Just the only dry rot you have is right over here. So there's your main post, 6x6, and it's a pretty rugged post, and there's no issues to that. But as a preventive maintenance measure, all these boards should be caulked and sealed so you don't get any water in there and cause damage to the post itself. Also, right up here, looks like they installed a gutter to collect any water coming out of the balcony, but I suspect you're going to get a lot of water out of that. But you might want to think about attaching a downspout to that so water doesn't get all over the wall. But that's kind of a low priority item, but sooner the better. So go ahead and take care of that. And then the main rafters on the patio structure looks pretty good, but just a little cross pieces on the top, several of them have a little dry rot, and that's very common because you have a lot of vegetation over this, and it doesn't get too much sunlight, so moisture tends to cause dry rot on these. So that's something you want to keep in mind. So if you have the vines, it reduces the life expectancy of the structure itself. But there's a little bit of dry rot on that, so that can be repaired. The pest inspection pointed out exactly the same stuff that I see, so you can also refer back to that. And then over here, there's a little stucco damage on the trim. That's just foam pieces that they glue on or nail on to just to give it an aesthetic look on the stucco. So that shouldn't cause any water getting in and causing problems. It's just a cosmetic repair. Home Depot carry patch, stucco patch. So if you want to do it yourself, you can. But if not, I would just hire someone to do it. Again, it's just a cosmetic fix.
Same with that one here.
Yeah, same over there. And then I did see some normal cracking in the stucco, very commonly seen cracks, so we just call it typical cracks. But if you want, you can, rule of thumb is if you can fit a dime through a crack, you want to seal it. I have not seen any cracks that actually can cause water intrusion and problems at this point because of the age of the house. But generally, as a preventive maintenance measure, you do want to seal any crack that is 1/16 of an inch or larger. So on a weekend you can go around and Home Depot sells stucco caulking. You can go ahead and seal those up and put some touch-up paint, or you can hire a handyman to do that. Also over here, The door threshold here should have a 2x2 block down here, so it doesn't cause this flexing and cause damage to the threshold. So one of these should be installed here. The garage entry door and also the front entry door needs those. So at some point they went missing, or the builder never put those in. Also, you have a little dry rot at this jamb here that can be just cut out and filled in. Pretty minor fix. Also, as a general maintenance a tip, you want to keep all your wood material outside painted so it doesn't deteriorate from moisture. So I think that's all we have for you. One more thing outside is this right here is a main sewer clean out, and it should have a screw cap. It's a 3-inch cap that you can buy at Home Depot. If not, it's really not going to cause any problems unless debris get in there. But the main thing is it's going to have sewer gases and bad odors, so you definitely want to go ahead and seal that up.